Alright fellas, what's going on? Denonu here. And this is gonna be a long video. One of you guys hit me up last week when I uploaded my last commentary video, or was it you know what, I think it's week before last, I'm sorry. He hit me up saying that he wanted to know my thoughts about the upcoming Destiny DLC that's coming out in September and what my predictions were on it, things like that. And instead of just doing just what my predictions are, I figured I'd make a whole video talking about my experience with Destiny, what my hopes and dreams were for the game, everything about the Destiny in general as a franchise. So that's what this video is gonna be. I'm gonna go in balls deep, so I'm gonna try not to offend too many people, but if people get offended what it is for me speaking my opinion, then fuck it. It is what it is. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna say some things that's gonna offend some people if there are, let's say, those people who are Destiny fans that love it to death. I'm gonna disappoint you with what I'm gonna be saying. So, I mean, if you can't take that, I don't want you to rant in my comment section. You can voice your opinion, but if you can't take criticism about the franchise that you like, click off the video. I'll wait. Move on to the next one. But anyway, let me stop rambling on. Destiny. In the beginning, when they announced it, this game is a game that's right up my alley. I'm a huge, shooter fan. I love me some sci-fi, but even more than that, even more besides the theme of the game, I was a Halo fan. I was a huge Bungie fan. But even besides that, I mean, like, the reason why that I still play this game, like I play Destiny, not because I overly love it, but just because it's a game that I like. I like the Halo style of shooter. I love it. I like the fact that it's a skill-based oriented combat that, let's say, Call of Duty doesn't have, that Battlefield doesn't have. Each one of those other franchises do things a little bit differently that I personally have gripes with because I don't like those things. Like Call of Duty has kill streaks. The way the community plays, there's no teamwork, there's no effort, all the kills are easy. And I personally don't like that. Battlefield, I don't like the way they balance snipers versus everything else because I'm a sniper at heart. I love me a good marksman rifle or a carbine rifle that I can spec out to be a mini sniper, like a marksman or a sniper. That's my thing. I love that. I worship that. I know the names of some rifles. I don't own any guns myself, but I'm the kind of person who knows the names of sniper rifles and things like that, and it's just that's my thing. From reading books and comics and all that kind of sort of stuff. Always love sniper rifles. But anyway, back. Let's get back on topic with Destiny. Destiny, since it played like a Halo game, it has that Halo framework. Loved it. When the beta came out last August, I played it. Me and a friend played it, and I knew I was gonna get the game regardless. Because I'm like, hold on, Bungie's making another Halo type game, and I'm like, okay, I'm already on board because since Halo was a more skillful game, that that's what I was hoping Destiny would be, which it is. But when I played it, and I even made a video talking about it, when I made my video, the biggest con, like the biggest con I can give it is it was lacking content. Like, even when we started it up, me and a friend, we made our characters. I made my character before him, and the first thing he said was like, why can't you put facial hair on your character? And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, don't even worry about it. Yo, it's Bungie. They're gonna have it in the full game. They're gonna have all of those customization options when the game comes out. Lo and behold, a few weeks later, game comes out, you have the same exact shit. Hardly nothing. Why even have the whole creator character thing? And that was the first sign, like, when I played it. When I picked up the full game, popped it in, made my character, jump back into the same world, and I'm like, this is the same shit you had in the beta. Nothing changed. Except they added a couple more missions onto Earth, and then you got the moon and, you know, the rest of it. Which is only four damn planets. Hardly shit. Pissed me the hell off. Cause I not only bought Destiny, I had a PlayStation 4 already. You know? I didn't, hell no, I ain't buy a PlayStation 4 just for Destiny, but I already had one. Already had a couple games. I knew I was buying it for myself. But since I don't really have any friends on my PlayStation 4 thing that I gamed with at the time, I think even now I only game with like 3 or 4 people on there. But, you know, my friend held me down the year before with a job, so I was like, you know what, yo, I got you. I know he's not the kind of person to buy a next-gen console right out the gate, because he was a huge Halo fan, and since he didn't like where Halo was going, and he don't play games like that, you know, he was like, you know, I'll get one eventually. One of the, you know, like, he's one of those kind of people. To where, but then he never gets it. So I was like, you know what? Since you held me down, I'm gonna hold you down. I bought him a PlayStation 4. So when I bought Destiny, I bought him a copy of Destiny, and we played it together. And we seen all the same bullshit that came with the game. Unbalanced weapons. The meta of the game is truly fucked with how they decide to balance guns and things like that. So many guns have one-hit kill potentials. So many unbalanced perks and powers that went into the game when it didn't need to be. Like, they clearly was throwing darts at a dartboard, picking ideas and taking certain RPG elements and putting it in a shooter without realizing the balance was off with all of those things. You can see it if you're smart. Now, if you're stupid, and there's a lot of stupid people who play this game, because a lot of people bought that enhanced edition, legendary edition, whatever the fuck they call that version of the game, and already, you know, committing themselves to the DLC and all that bullshit. I know I didn't, because I was fucking smart. They got $60 from me, you know, well 120, you know, considering 2 games. But it was a very weird thing, because the game didn't have no content. The PvP was fucked up. Everything was focused around your character, and you can see that the whole game is designed to keep you playing. And how it does that is, it's a leveling up system, so it makes you want to level up more and to get better gear and all of that. And for stupid people, that's enough for them. You know, for casual gamers who don't care about, let's say, substance or content with their games. They just want to pick up a game and just, you know, fuck around until they, you know, get off after a couple hours. For those kind of people, it is perfectly fine. It will placate you, you know, for those gamers. So if you were somebody who was like that, yeah, I may be calling you stupid, but I'm not meaning it in that overly negative tone. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it because that's the only word that I can think of that's really coming to my mind right now. So when I mean stupid, I'm saying you are customers that, let's say, a company would assume. A company is assuming you're stupid for buying their product. So that's why they're pulling the wool over your eyes and getting one over on you. That's what they're doing. And with this game, you had a lot of that in the game. Them treating the so-called expansions, I'm gonna call them DLC, because that's what the hell they are. They are not expansion. Crota and the House of Wolves, they are not expansions. They are DLC. And I don't know why. I'm assuming it's Activision. I'm assuming they are taking content out of the game to make the game a certain way. Either that, or maybe this game had problems, you know, in development, and they just had to scrap what they had and only put out what they did. So I think it's either one or the other. But going into the game, I really truly wanted Destiny to be like, give me like a Halo, but throw a Mass Effect spin on top of it. I want to be able to run around as a big, bulky Spartan type character, but with powers and shit, you know. Like what I was hoping for was pretty much take Mass Effect's multiplayer and put it in a first-person shooter sandbox. That's what I was really hoping for as far as multiplayer. And it just doesn't do it, you know? It's not to say that it's bad, because I actually like the PvP, you know, in Destiny. Yeah, it's overpowered. Yeah, you have tons of guns that are unbalanced and overpowered, all of that bullshit.
He was in there.
But at the end of the day, I still like the style of shooter that Destiny is. So, I still like it because of that. It's not so bad that it's unplayable. You know, I've played bad games. This is not a bad game. It's just a game that's shitty in its execution.
Appreciate that.
With how it does things. The DLC practices, the way that they pad your leveling with the whole light system with gear, the way that you go through the missions in the story, like I can't just play them. Why are they locked to my level? You know, it's just like there's a lot of shit that they do to get you to play the game over and over and over and over and over again. It's designed that way. And as somebody who is smart, and I'm not saying I'm like, you know, oh, I'm this, you know, extreme hardcore gamer that's really smart. I'm not saying none of that. It's just, as somebody who is smart, you can see the psychological bullshit that they are doing as a company to get people to buy and play their game. And a lot of young people who buy games, they don't realize that companies will push and push and push you to spend more and more money and give you less and less and less of a product. That is a way of life. That's something that most people learn as they live their life, because that's just the way things are. The companies want more money. It's the same dynamic that you have in, let's say, in politics. It's the same dynamic that you have with your car's mechanic. Same thing. You know, as you live your life, there are tons of things that you need and that you have to have in your life that has that kind of dynamic that you have to play the game with, you know? And apparently nowadays, video games are no different, because they make just as much money and more money than movies do.
Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself.
And it's just... it pisses me off as somebody who's smart that so many people are... They don't see the bullshit. And then, if you really like something, you can't see the bullshit. You just can't see it. You're blinded by how much you like the game, so that you can't understand why somebody else has a difference of opinion about it. You know, and those are the people who fanboy the game. I've talked to a few people in PlayStation parties about Destiny, and they're like, oh man, I just can't, you know, I like the game as a foundation, but you know, I'm not buying the DLC. Fuck that. Why would I buy that shit? And they just don't understand why. Because they're like, well, why don't you get the DLC? The DLC is awesome. You have all of this shit, when you really don't. That's because they can't see it. But anyway, I know as the game went on that fall, I was playing it with my friend, leveling up, I think, my Warlock character. And it got to the, you know, Crota. And I was like, you know what? I don't have shit else to play. Nothing was coming out that fall. Like, I was playing Advanced Warfare on and off, and I just wasn't really feeling that. I was really playing by myself. I don't game with a lot of people. Not because I don't want to, but just because, you know, most of my friends don't play Call of Duty. I only really have like 2 or 3 friends that I would have on Xbox, and then one bought Xbox One when I had a PlayStation 4, so I would love to build up my friends list on PlayStation, but anyway, the DLC came out in last December, and I seen what it had in it, and it was like, oh, okay, it comes with a new raid. All right, that's cool. You know, Vault of Glass was pretty good, like the first time you ran it, and nothing was. I wasn't playing anything because it had, like, you know, nothing was really out. So I caved. I knew I was wasting money when I got it, but I bought the DLC. I bought Crota. Me and a friend. I bought it for him too, because like I said, I'm gonna be doing that a lot. I bought Crota twice. I bought it once for myself, once for my friend, and and we played it. And the only really additions or changes from how the normal game was,
People, we need to stay
it was you had a raid, which was kind of watered down when you compared to Vault of Glass when you first went through it. Vault of Glass kind of had that air of mystery to it, whereas Crota was just more linear, I guess. But other than that, you had more shitty story missions that didn't really explain anything
you gotta get that
really about it. It was just like, oh, look, here's this guy Crota, go kill him. And then when you played the story missions, it was like, oh, remember that AI from that one mission in the regular story? Well, now you have to go save him. And it's just like, again, like this game is like non-linear storytelling. It doesn't fill in none of the gaps that you have, and that you would have in a typical story.
Whatever.
So, but granted, going into the DLC, I already knew that, because I watched other people's run-throughs of it, knew exactly what I was paying for. But it was like, I was like, it's $20. I was working at the time and had money, so I'm like, all right, it is what it is. It's not hurting me any. It's hurting, the game itself in the long run, because I don't think you should give somebody money without getting a substantial product. But
I can't even say that shit.
I caved in and bought it anyway.
Get the fuck out of here.
Knew what I was getting. And I thought it would be a little bit better. To be honest, I thought it would be a little bit better because people was making videos, everything was going around, everybody was bitching at Destiny for not having content. So I'm thinking like, all right, it's been like 2 or 3 months. I'm thinking the DLC's gonna be a little bit better. But then when I looked it up, I found out that it was just more of the same bullshit. So a few more months go, same shit, same overpowered weapons. Same multiplayer problems still persist to this day. And then I want to say House of Wolves came out. So I was like, alright, well, I know I'm not gonna purchase it. Going into it, I'm like, fuck that, why would I purchase it? They're not giving me a reason to buy it, And
motherfucker, dude.
Honestly, the only reason I brought House of Wolves is because I was making this video. And again, I bought it for myself, and I bought it for, the one friend that I told you that I bought a PlayStation 4 for. And played it, ran through it. The only difference was, again, same bullshit, same non-linear storytelling. However, I will say this. The House of Wolves story missions were a little bit better. They did have a flow to them, like it felt like you were doing something like in a normal game where it's like, okay, you're going from here to here to here to here to here.
Oh, damn it.
And that I will say was a little bit better. Granted, all the extra shit, the Trials of Osiris, the what do they call it? Prison of Elders, more typical bullshit. You have Firefight, and then you have I guess if I'm gonna call it this, ranked PvP.
You're probably taking on my kills.
Now granted, Trials of Osiris is actually pretty good. I like the fact that it's challenging, because a lot of games don't want to have the challenge, and this game is no exception. It's one of the the reasons why I think the PvP is so unbalanced is they don't want to make a game too easy. Or I'm sorry, not easy. They don't want to make a game too hard, because if they make the game too hard, people are gonna suck at it, and it increases the skill gap in a game. And when you do that, people are gonna get discouraged if they suck. For whatever reason, this generation doesn't have the drive to want to be better. They just want to be good at the game, and if they're not good at the game, they put it down, quit, and play something else. So as a company, they have to make the games a certain way to placate that kind of community, so that they will buy their game. So I can understand why they did it. It's just that I don't prefer it myself. I prefer the Halo 3 route. You have a social casual playlist, and you want to have a ranked playlist. And when Destiny came out, they did it the same way that they did, I want to say like Halo Reach when Bungie made that, where it was like you have a couple different playlists, but then you don't have no lobbies. There's no matchmaking for everything. At least you had that in Halo, but in this, it's like certain key elements of a multiplayer game do not exist. And that's something that it leads more into that bullshit that I don't understand why they don't do it. Like, why isn't matchmaking in for the raids? Why do people got to go to a damn website to meet people to play a raid with? Why do you have to go on Bungie's website to look at grimoire cards to know all the in-depth story for all the different the races, the characters, the ideas, and the concepts of the game? Fuck that. That shit should be in the game, point blank and period. Like, when I buy a book, I don't buy a book, read halfway through it, and be like, oh, if you want to know what happened to this character, pick up this book. I'm like, no, fuck no. This isn't a choose your own adventure game. Like, fuck that shit. It should be in the game, and they don't do that, and it just pisses me off. It's those business decisions that really it enrages me. When I think about Destiny, because I really like the game. I really do. I don't outright hate it, and it's just like, why can't Destiny just have lobbies like every other shooter out there? It makes perfect sense. Why don't they have matchmaking like every other fucking shooter that comes out? And it's just, I can understand, because they said, okay, the reason why we don't have matchmaking in the raid is because we want people to group together and have fun, and we want you to play with your friends. Okay, that's fine. If I want to play with my fucking friends, I will send them an invite. But what if I'm somebody who don't have friends? Or what if I don't want to play with, the same people every time I do the raid? What if I want to play with randoms? Hell, that's how you make fucking friends online if you don't have no friends. That's how you do it. You play with them, you party up. This guy plays good. Hey, yo, you played a good match. You mind if I send you a friend request? Sure, man, why not? That's how shit happens. And I don't know. Hold on. My controller, this one's really bad. Just getting pissed thinking about it. Wait, but you had the DLCs come out, right? And it's like,
do you have trouble hearing us?
I understand Destiny is an ongoing game, and I was like, but you can have an ongoing game and have your core game be good. You know what I'm saying? They could have put out a regular game with a full story, full content, all of that shit, and then just kept expanding on that idea. Hell, take a page out of Mass Effect's book. They've been doing it for the past 2 games, and that's a single player only game. I mean, they could easily throw in multiplayer in that shit, and it's like Destiny could have did the same shit.
There we go. My controller's good.
It's like Bungie is. They are not the same Bungie that made Halos 1, 2, and 3, Oni, and the games that they made before that. They are not the same company. They are a shitty facsimile with the Bungie name. They are like the new fucking Infinity Ward for Call of Duty. That's what they are. Where they're like Infinity Ward in name only.
Yeah, most of the time I'm talking to you, you don't even reply. Right?
Yeah. Oh man, this game just pissing me off.
Start talking about something else.
That, and you had the overpriced DLC. Like, why was DLC $20 for what you got? And you hardly ever got anything. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I wouldn't have had no problem if like the DLC was like $10.
Wow,
something else that pissed me off. And it's not because I don't have the money to play it, but it's just, I don't know, it's certain things are right or wrong. Like, I don't, like I said, $10, I don't mind. It's not the fact that I'm a cheapskate and want the games to be always a certain price. I could care less about that. Games have been getting cheaper and cheaper for years. It's just the fact that DLC has been getting more and more expensive year after year after year. But you can do both and not be so money hungry. It's like the only reason that they're doing it is they know people gonna pay for it. And it just pisses me off, and it's like, why would millions and millions of people placate a company and give them money when they're getting screwed over at the end of the day? And hell, I wouldn't even, like I said, I wouldn't even bought House of Wolves, the current, the second DLC, if I wasn't making this video. But I just felt that as a need, as a gamer, I don't want to give my opinion about something without having, experience in it. Like, I knew what was in the House of Wolves when I bought it. I knew it was going to be the same bullshit.
Yes.
I knew it was going to have the same exact problems that the main game had as far as content. But I don't want to just say that and not be like, and not have people come back at me be like, well, you ain't even play it, so what's, that's the reason why I waited 2 weeks to put this video out. because I bought it like last week and I was like, you know what? Let me at least play every part of the DLC before I give my opinion about it. And
I'm not going through those doors. I'm not going any door.
It makes me worry about the new DLC. And it's like you have the one that's coming out in September. That supposedly, oh, it's cost more money because it has more content. I'll believe it when I see it.
Killed me from right there. Serious.
The only thing that I predict it's going to be, I think that the presentation is going to get better. I will say that. I think the cutscenes and the flow of the DLC might be different. I truly, honestly think that when the game dropped last year, Crota, the Vault of Glass, the House of Wolves, I think those were already done. And they just took them out of the game. And because if you look at the story of all of it, you have Crota, you have what's the House of Wolves guy? Skolas, I think his name is Skolas. The story of the DLCs, they are kind of what you don't have in the main game. Like if you guys ever look at the main game, each race that you fight, the Fallen, the Vex, the Cabal, they're on all different planets, right? But they each have a core planet, like the Fallen are on Earth, the Hive are on the Moon, the Cabal are on Mars, the Vex is on Venus. It makes sense that you go from one planet to another. That was a given in the story, right? It seems, or at least to me, that the people, the bosses of each race, they were supposed to be on their planet. Like when you go through Earth, you fight the Fallen, you take down Skolas. You know, he was working with Crota, so then you go to the Moon, fight the Hive, take down Crota. Then you go to Venus and take down whoever led the Vex. It makes sense from a story standpoint that they just took out of the game when it was released or before that. And even with this new thing, like with the new DLC is what you have, like Crota's dad, I forget what his name is, but it seems like this could be part of the story. Like oh he's mad that you killed his son. I mean, like, okay, it makes sense. Because what if you buy the one DLC, what if you never bought the Crota DLC, but yet you buy the one in September? So now the storyline isn't going to make sense, It seems like that they really just ripped out a lot of different elements from the story that they had. They had an overarching story that they broke up, ripped into pieces, and now they're giving you the pieces back. The reason I say the presentation with this new one is going to be different is because I think the other ones, they were already done before the game came out, or they were still working on them, but the ideas about them, they were all set in stone. With this new one, with this update, I truly think that was something that they developed after the game came out. And I truly think that they've looked at everything that people have said, and that they're, or at least gonna try to, I hope, if they're not straight lying to people. And I think that they're half placating that too, with all these updates and oh, we care about the community. I think that's half true. It's not 100% like I want it, but I think it's about half true. They still placate a lot of bullshit. But I truly think that it's gonna, like, the presentation is gonna be better. The mission structure might change a little bit. This is just judging what I'm seeing in in the videos, things like that. I think it's gonna be structured a little bit differently. From what I've heard, they said that the game, they're gonna take the challenges and the bounties and make everything quest driven. So they're gonna make them like quests now, like it's an actual RPG. But who knows? I think it's gonna be the same shit, just under a different name. But I think it's gonna have a better presentation. It's gonna have a better flow to it, story wise. I think it's gonna have, or at least I'm hoping it's gonna have a better flow. Like if it has the same exact bullshit where it's non-linear, they don't explain shit, it's just okay, the same exact shit, they really fucked up. But I don't think they're gonna do that. I think it's gonna be, the presentation's gonna be a little bit better. I think the content that they're gonna add is gonna be okay. I don't think it's gonna be anything groundbreaking. Yeah, the new powers might be something okay, but people knew that shit was gonna come out since the game came out because there was an empty power slot in like the whole game, so everybody knew that they were getting a power. They probably just took it out, but in addition with that, I think adding the new powers and the new abilities are just gonna further compound the bullshit that's in the multiplayer and that's in the game when it comes to the meta. Because if you're adding a whole nother tree of bullshit, because even with the 2 powers now, it's hard to balance all of that bullshit that you already have in your game. Like, I can name tons of shit that each character class has that's kind of weird, like it shouldn't be there, you know? Like, why are Titans and Warlocks kind of sort of super tough with their grenades? Warlocks are just OP in general based on everything that they fucking got. You know, cause space wizardry is awesome. But like Titans and Warlocks have really strong grenades, right? But then you get to the Hunters who have really shitty grenades. But yet you give them like the 1-hit kill potential from across the map with the golden gun, whereas with like a Titan you gotta get up close with somebody with your special. It's like things they're not balanced correctly for what they have. And all the little subtle in-between perks too, like Titans getting the shoulder charge that also 1-hit kills you whenever you sprint into somebody. Or like Hunters have the 1-hit kill potential with the throwing knife that people rarely use because it's hard, but yet you still have it. So if you're good with it, you can still drop somebody in 1 hit. You still have all of that bullshit, and I think adding a different power set is just going to come with its own set of problems that you now have to take. You have to balance this newer, bullshit stuff with the older bullshit stuff, and I just don't think they're gonna do that. I think it's gonna be a clusterfuck, like the multiplayer is now. To be honest, so that I think it's gonna remain the same. I don't really know where they're gonna have to take it, to be honest, because Destiny is doing well. I will say that as a game, as a franchise, millions of people are buying it, millions of people are playing it. So I don't think that they're trying too hard to improve the game, and that scares me because I really like the concept of Destiny. I just wish that they would make it a little bit more balanced and change some shit. But I honestly think that whenever a company or whenever a person gets too complacent, they, like, if you're, or how would I explain this? Let me try to break this down. When a company, if they know millions of people are going to buy their game regardless, they're not gonna try to put their best foot forward and make their game the best that it possibly could be. They're gonna get sloppy. They're gonna get lazy. They're just gonna be like, we could just put out anything and people are buying it. Like, like Activision with Call of Duty. Just saying, throwing that out there too. But it's just weird that I've always been somebody. My dad used to always tell me coming up, no matter what you do in life, either do it right or don't do it at all. And I'm not talking about right from like a moral standpoint, because he was kind of like a shady individual when it came to moral stuff. But what I mean right and wrong is that if you're gonna make something, if you're gonna do anything of substance, put your best foot forward every time you do it. And don't get lazy with it, don't get sloppy with it. And I honestly think that Bungie, they're gonna get sloppy because right now they have no reason at all to change or to make their game better, because there are millions and millions of stupid ass people who bought Destiny and who play Destiny on a daily basis, and that are going to continue to buy into their bullshit, into whatever they come up with, So I honestly think that they're not going to improve to make the game better. I'm hoping that they do, but at the same time, I know that they're not, because if you're making millions of dollars, why would you change up that kind of strategy? What I'm hoping that they do in the future. I know it's not going to come with the new DLC. It may not even come next year, but like 2 or 3 years down the line, if they really want to make Destiny great, I truly want them to make the game a true ongoing experience. I want them to fulfill that promise that they came out with when they said what the game was. Like when, you know, like it's gonna be an ongoing experience. You're gonna, you know, live and breathe this game. You're gonna live out, you know, you're gonna live as your character in this world that they made for you. There's a lot of things they could do to fix that. Right now, we are nowhere near there. And I know they said that Destiny is gonna last 10 years, but I'm hoping that it does, because I want to play Destiny 5 years from now. Right now, it's kind of, sort of, besides the multiplayer, that's where I get most of my enjoyment out of. Not because I really enjoy it, not because I overly love it. Like I said before, I don't. However, I do like the Halo style of play. I like playing it with, you know, my friend of mine and, you know, anybody else. But, if I get anybody else to be on my friends list. But I do like that style of game. I want it to succeed at the end of the day. And I truly want, what I really honestly want is, I know I keep mentioning Mass Effect, but I want Destiny to be like Mass Effect. I want to take my character, log into the game, throw me in the tower. The tower has all of these other areas where I can go and buy equipment. I want it to be an MMO. That's honestly what I want. If they can make Destiny into an MMO, like the tower is supposed to be a place where all of the Guardians live, but yet there's no rental houses, no apartments, no living quarters, there's nothing, there's no cities, there's nothing to explore. The worlds that you have are just bare bones, they don't have people in them, they don't have this, there's no universe to the game. It feels like it's the opposite of Halo, where it's like, take Halo and cut out the lore and the universe and this is what you get. A shitty multiplayer, meta game experience. and I know a lot of fans berate Halo because they don't, not a lot of Halo fans, but a lot of Call of Duty fans and other fans of other games, when they talk about Halo, if they're not Halo fans, they berate Halo like, oh man, why is this game so good when the game sucks? And why does everybody love the lore and the backstory? It's because it has lore and backstory to it. Halo as a franchise, you have tons of lore, story, ongoing character dramas between the different characters. Like things like that everything fits together. Right now, Destiny has a foundation with no lore or universe that you experience in the game to get you wrapped up in it. So it's just kind of like, okay, here's this babysitting game you play for an hour or two. Run some strikes and talk shit with your friends. Here you go. And that's what I don't want to see Destiny, to be. I want to log into my game. I want to take my ship, explore the nearby solar systems, land on planets, shoot shit, and have fun with my friends while doing it. Then go back to the tower, take some trophies that I get from missions, go back to my apartment or living area, where me and my friends could chill out, and at the time when we're just chilling at the tower talking shit. I mean, there's a bunch of shit that they could add in the game to really truly flesh out that experience, and that's what I hope that they do. Honestly, that's the biggest thing that I want as a Destiny fan, if you want to call me that, as somebody who likes the game, is I just want more of the world. Give me a story. Because my biggest thing, and when I play a single player only game, is story. That's number one. Fuck gameplay, fuck graphics, to hell with the music. I mean, it's story number one. Give me a reason. I have to be attracted to what you're offering, to me intellectually. I treat my gaming just like I treat my woman. To be honest, it's like when I meet a girl, it's like if she's stupid or whatever, I'm not dating her. But that's just how it's gonna be. You have to be somewhat educated and smart for me to even converse with you, period. And I want my games to do the same thing. When I pick up a brand new game, I want a story that where, you know, that catches me, that grips me, that's like, you know what, damn, I actually like that story. You know, because when I play a game and I get wrapped up in a game story like that, I will play that game to like the end of time. You know, I will no-life that game because I truly like it. Hell, I'm still playing The Witcher. And I know there's a lot of YouTube channels out there who like picked it up when the game first came out, you know, just to stay on the current trend, but then they dropped off and not doing it no more. You know, like they only got a few videos in, but me, I'm still loving it. I'm still doing the shit, you know? Love it. But that's what I want to do with Destiny, but it's like they're not giving me a reason to. And I know my views aren't the same that, you know, like for everybody else. I know for, you know, the casual gamers, they're not going to have that point of view. They just want to pick up something and play it. I can understand that. But I just don't see why, as a company, and that as a medium, as a product you're putting out there, why can't you do both at the end of the day? And Bungie, given the amount of money that they had, you know,
we got the shitty side.
You know, given the amount of money that they had in order to make the game, and giving all of their resources, and you know, and Activision's resources to actually make the game and to make the DLCs and the content, they could have made the greatest game or the greatest shooter in the style of Halo. I'm gonna say this, but like they could have made the greatest shooter ever made. You know, if you are a fan of, you know, this type of shooters, they could have truly made a truly epic game that would have changed the landscape of gaming, but they didn't. They kind of made a game that kind of, okay, this changed how developers look upon making their games when it comes to shooters. Destiny did kind of sort of probably like a third of what Call of Duty 4 did for the first-person shooter genre. Where when it came out, it had perks and kill streaks, because all the other shooters that came out, or at least most of the shooters that came out before Call of Duty were arena-based shooters, like how Halo was, things like that. And then when COD came around, or at least with COD 3 and 4, they kind of took that idea and kind of flipped it and stole a bunch of ideas and put them all together, and then they made their own style of game, and now that's big in the tactical first-person shooter genre. And Destiny kind of broke that mold a little bit, was like, oh, okay, here's our shit, but now we have abilities and superpowers and things that we can give our characters to make the people who casually play it, you know, make the game a little bit easier for them. At the end of the day, I know that's what most casual people want. I don't like that style of play. You know, because to me, it's kind of, maybe I grew up in a different generation. I mean, in my generation, you either got better at something or you got shit on. That was your dynamic. And everybody had to go through the same trial of getting shit on until you got better. And I know that was how Halo used to be. I'm hoping Halo 5 is going to be the same way. But with Destiny, Call of Duty, Battlefield, it's like that somewhat. But, you know, most shooters, they're very, very casual nowadays. And I think that Destiny, what it could have been, is that I would have wanted the multiplayer to be more hardcore and yet have the PvE for the more casual side of things. But I don't see them changing that dynamic anytime soon, because what they came out with, people seem to love it. I don't know if people loved it for the fact of that, because I don't think, you know, Bungie did anything overly great with this game that you haven't seen before. It's just that I just think that Destiny came along at a time when people are tired of Call of Duty. And, you know, there are plenty of people out there who, let's say, aren't into shooters. I'm going to say that aren't into shooters enough to be good. Let me say that. The kind of people who can sit down and play a first-person shooter, but they don't like shooting other people because they're not good at it. Those kind of sort of gamers who love to play, like, let's say, Borderlands or something like that, where it's like, you don't like shooters enough to play multiplayer shooters like COD, Halo, Battlefield, but yet you can get wrapped up in a game like Borderlands, where it's just like it's a shooter technically, but you still love that type of game. And I think Destiny, I mean, I really truly think Bungie saw that kind of sort of potential, and it was like, how do we take a shooter like Halo and merge that into something like Borderlands? And I think they have a great dynamic with that. It's just the Borderlands experience, at least with Borderlands 2, shits on any of the content that this game has, you know? And, you know, because I played both games of that too. However, I will say this. Borderlands 1 was the same way. That game was utter, you know, shit when it came to story too. So maybe Destiny 2, whatever they come out with, it will be better, because Borderlands did it. Borderlands story was the same way. It kind of barely held your hand as you took you through the story, you know? Like part 1 barely had a story. It was like this. But then with part 2, they kind of dumped everything in there and made it an ongoing story that carried over from area to area. I mean, that's what my hopes and dreams are for Destiny. I really truly want them to make the game have a universe. And I want to play in that universe, and I want to play in that universe for a long time. But given that this game has made millions and millions of dollars, I'm hoping they still do it, because from a business standpoint, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, if we made millions and millions of dollars, and we're giving the people what they want, obviously, because they're paying us, we don't got to change shit. And I'm hoping they don't get complacent. I'm really hoping they don't get complacent, and you know, they get lazy. However, I will say this: Bungie has kind of shook my faith a little bit. They really have. Coming off of Halo, let's say Halo Reach, was not a fan of Halo Reach. Halo Reach was a lazy game, and then they jumped and made this, and I was like, this was a lazy looking game. So it's like, maybe this isn't the same Bungie I remember. I mean, I remember back in the day when Bungie made Oni, you know, badass action game. I remember when they made Halo 1, 2, and 3. Granted, they didn't change a hell of a lot. You know, because, you know, every Halo game, for those that didn't know, Halos 1, 2, and 3 were pretty much remaking the magic of the first one. but they, you know, Microsoft didn't let, you know, they only let them do certain things. So that's another reason why I had high hopes for this game, is because I thought that when they were making, they were like, you know what, we're done, you know, we're done with Halo, we want to move on to something else. And you know, and then they go announce Destiny. It's like, hold on, you're I thought you guys were tired of making a sci-fi first shooter, and then they jump right back into making the same shit. But honestly, at the end of the day, I want them to add a universe to Destiny. I want a story in my game. I want the multiplayer. I know no game is going to be perfect. At the end of the day, I don't see them changing the multiplayer all that much. They say they will be balancing guns, they'll be fixing problems and all that, but they're like any other company. They're going to say what you want to hear at the end of the day. Yeah, they'll fix some things. They'll do what they want. They'll fix some things, but I truly believe that nothing's really going to change. The more that they add into the multiplayer is just gonna muddy the water. Yeah, they may nerf some guns, buff some guns, but yet, I mean, there's always gonna be overpowered shit. The powers in the game are really, you know, and when I mean powers, I don't mean the actual like specials and supers that you get. I'm meaning like the perks, like the class perks, the things on every gun that makes them special, like the thorns lingering damage, which I fucking hate, or like those special abilities that certain guns do. As long as they put those kind of things in certain guns in the multiplayer, it's gonna be unbalanced. It's like I said, like this is a very weird video for me to make. Like I said, I've been talking about this shit for like 50 minutes going on now. I'm sitting here looking at the clock. And it's just, I can only rant about it so long because I truly like the game. I really do. But it's like I'm split down, split down the middle like Two-Face. Like half of me is like, oh, you know what? You know, I like Destiny. We can, you know, I can see it. You know, I can see where this is going. You know, like this is it's not perfect, but you know, we can deal with this. You know, this is good. And my other half is like,
I don't have no name.
you know, well, why are they doing all this weird corporate bullshit? Why is the DLC overpriced? And I'm seeing all the flaws in the game, so I'm like caught down the middle with my thoughts on it. But I've always been a person to be, you know, to be thoughtful with all of my purchases. I don't waste my money. You know, like when I buy games, I don't just go out and just buy shit that I, you know, without knowing what I'm buying.
I killed myself. He was and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna blow myself up.
For them to actually get my money again, like I said, they wouldn't have got my money with House of Wolves if I wasn't making this video. You know, but for them to truly get my money again, even for the next DLC, I don't care what's in it, for any other further DLC, they would have to come correct and actually give me something that I feel is worth me paying for. You know, the only way I would probably get the next DLC is somebody would have to buy it for me, or let's say the only other reason I would get it if I had like a bunch of you guys, a bunch of subscribers saying, hey, look, play the game, we'll play with you. If I had like a bunch of people that would do that, yeah, I will go out and get it and play it. But as right now, I don't have nobody doing that, so I'm not buying it for that. And for me personally, I just don't feel that it's worth it. I really don't. Because I think they said it was, what, $40? I don't know if they reneged and lowered that price, but it's like, I could get a whole new game for that. You know, I can get a hard drive for my computer for that. You know, there's a lot I can do with $40. Damn, so for them to get that kind of money from me for a game that I know is going to be shitting on me with its, you know, experience, they're not, they're not going to get my money again. That's just the way it is. They would have to give me an actual game. For me to, for me to buy the actual DLC and to actually purchase anything that they make.
It was a hacker.
But as far as right now, my end thoughts is it's not worth it. Save your money. You know what I wish the millions of people that play Destiny, I can understand them buying the original game. Because you are buying it on faith. On faith from Bungie and on faith from what you've seen. Even though the beta came out and people played it, but everybody probably thought like I did, where they assumed that Bungie was gonna add in more shit when they did. But I wish more people would have that kind of frame of mind to don't just give them your money just to be doing it, because then they wouldn't put out a piss poor product. It's the ends justify the means at the end of the day. I know that them not getting my money isn't going to change anything, because there's millions of people who have, this kind of sort of, millions of people bought the game. At the end of the day, millions of people bought the game. Millions more people are going to be playing it. So I know at the end of the day, my $60 or my $40, I should say, isn't going to make that much of a difference, but it makes a difference to me. And at the end of the day,
that's how you get rolled.
That's really all I care about is me and my thoughts on something. So I have a lot of pride as a person, and I take that pride into consideration with everything I do in my life, whether that's games, my work ethic, how I treat other people. Everything gets boiled down to that pride level as far as everything I do. And I'm not gonna compromise that pride,
bitch,
just to give them money or just to buy a game. I can't do it. It's just like on YouTube. Like I can't sell out and make bullshit content or content that I know would get views just because of doing it. I'm not gonna sit there and upload 50 billion trailers for every movie and game to come out just because I know it's gonna get views. Fuck that. It comes down to integrity. At the end of the day. And and I treat gaming the same way. Like I'm not gonna. Why would I give them my money? Give me something of value. It's not worth it. I don't have to play Destiny. I could play other games and other shit that comes out. You know, Destiny's not, you know, not the end-all be-all to my YouTube channel or to my gaming experience as a whole. You know, fuck it. Yeah, I mean, that's how I treat it. Like, if I don't feel that it's worth it, I'm not gonna play it. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, with that being said, I truly want the game to succeed. Like I said, I want the game to have more story. I want the game to truly evolve into an MMO style RPG where I have the whole universe to run around in, walk around with, talk to people. You know, I want it to be an in-game, community, not an online community with different websites where I have to, you know, get other people to join me through a website. No, I want, you know, give me a message board, an actual message board, like in The Witcher, you know, like when you go up and get Witcher contracts and stuff. Put an actual message board like that in Destiny where I can be, you know, be like, you know, requesting 2 other people for Vault of Glass or whatever on hard. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, they can truly innovate the first-person shooter demographic, and that's, you know, that's just what I'm hoping that they do at the end of the day. So I'm sorry about going on for 56 minutes. You know, I truly, honestly only expected this video to be a half hour, but I just had to get it all out there. You know, I couldn't.
Right on the money right now.
I know the one sub who just wanted me to talk about the newer DLC, but I feel that I couldn't really talk about Destiny or talk about the new DLC without explaining everything that's on my mind about the franchise. That's why I had to start over with when I started my commentary and, you know, how I heard about it and what my thoughts were before I bought it and all that stuff. But I just truly feel that if you're going to hear what my predictions and you're going to hear what my thoughts upon the newer DLC and all of that stuff, rather than make a short 4 or 5 minute video, you should hear where all of those reasons and all of those decisions come from. So, I mean,
they put one
I bought the DLC, like I said before. I don't think it's worth it. I think people should save their money until they are given a reason to spend it and getting something substantial out of it. So, anyway, that's been my thoughts on Destiny. If anybody's still listening, please, you know, if you have anything to say about Destiny or about anything I've said, let me know down there in the comments section. My name is Denonu, and also let me know if you guys want me to talk about anything else for my next commentary video. I'm gonna try to put out
at the last second too,
maybe 1 video a week, maybe 2 videos a week, something like that. So if you guys want me to talk about any other game, any other franchise, any other console, system, PC games, what have you, let me know down there in the comments. My name is Denonu, the man with black privilege, and I'll